Hello dear viewers and welcome to RTD's English News Edition. The major stories for tonight are: the head of state chairs the 40th session of the Council of Ministers this morning. UNICEF announces that 83 children were killed in the month of January. Thank you for joining us. Under the chairmanship of the head of state and head of the government, Ismail Omar Guelleh, the 40th meeting of the Council of Ministers was held today at the Presidential Palace. 8 questions were on the agenda, where they have focused on the progress and evolutions recorded in the Department of Health. Let's listen to this report.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Sous la présidence du chef de l'État, son Excellence M. Ismail Omar Guelleh, s'est tenue la 4e séance du Conseil des ministres en ce mardi 6 février 2018.
Under the chairmanship of the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has been held today the 4th session of the Ministers' Council. 8 bills were on the agenda. The first bill concerned the communications of the 2015-17 health sector evolution. The Ministry of Health has implemented a reform of the health system enshrined in the 1999 Health Policy Orientation Law. This reform is implemented at sectoral level through the National Health Development Plan, which is regularly revised in order to improve the health system adapted to the socio-health changing needs of the country. The one covering the 2018-2022 period has been finalized. From May 2016, the reform has gained momentum, boosted by the roadmap of the Presidents of the Republic in line with the socio-economic policy guideline included in this CAP and the 2035 vision. Regarding the numbers of health personnel, there was a 12% increase in 2016-17. The number of specialist doctors is higher than the number of general physicians, thanks to the contingent of Cuban doctors. There has been a special effort put on strengthening human resource in terms of quality and quantity, in terms of the availability and accessibility of pills and drugs, the strengthening of the technical platform, and the establishment of universal health insurance. It is also important to emphasize the opening of an emergency services at the level of the peripheral structures, the improvement of access and receptions in the emergency services. The second bill is related to a draft decree repealing the Decree 2009-0197 PR of the Higher Education Minister establishing the Establishment Council and Management Committee of Schools. In its quest for success, the Minister of National Education must rely on all levels, the levers that can change the education system. The participations of parents in school life through the revitalizations of parents' associations is a necessity. Every parent must understand that school is the good of the community and that schools belong to them, and that the success of their children is related to the degree of their involvement in the school community. A good child in his school environment is a successful child. This decision also aims to create an educational council that will allow teachers from all disciplines to share good pedagogical practices. The third bill is related to a draft decisions on the assignment of the Ministry of Economy. This land is located in the region of Ali Sabih with an area of 241,122 square meters, which will be used for the implementation of the cement manufacturing plant called the Ali Sabih Cement Plant Company.
The head of state then signed 3 decrees appointing senior positions in the Ministry of Budget, Labor and Foreign Affairs. And at the end of the meeting, reports were made on the 30th Ordinary Summit of the Heads and Governments of the African Union and the Extraordinary Council of Arab Foreign Ministers on Jerusalem. Let's listen to the government spokesman.
The fourth bill is related to a draft order for the allocations of a plot of land for the benefit of the Djibouti Fishery Industry Company. This plot of 19,000 square meters located in Obok is intended for the construction of a complex of fishing ports. The fifth question is related to a draft order for the allocations of a land to the Ministry of Religious Affairs. The 6th, 7th and 8th bill concern a draft decree appointing Mr. Ali Hamad Ali, previously assigned to the Ministry of Budget, now appointed as the Budget Minister Technical Advisor. Mr. Usman Al-Tere is appointed Studies and Planning Director at the Ministries of Labor. Mr. Hussein Ali Fuliye is appointed the Administrative and Financial Director at the Ministries of Labor. Mr. Abdullah Awlad Ali Khair Rayale and Ibrahim Burhan Mohammed are appointed Technical Advisors for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Minister of Foreign Affairs has reported to the Council the work of the 13th Summit of the African Union, in which the Presidents of the Republic participated from the 28th to the 29th January 2018. The Foreign Minister also reported to the Council on his participation in a meeting of the Arab Council Ministers concerning the Holy City of Qudus issue. The Minister of Education, for his part, has reported to the Council on his participation to the GPE Replenishment Conference from the 1st to the 2nd February 2018 in Senegal. The Minister of Higher Education has also reported to the Council on his mission in Senegal from the 14th to the 18th January 2018. The Minister of Energy also reported to the Council on his visit to the Okila gold exploration area by Tani Stratex.
On the margin of the visit of the Arab League Secretary General in Djibouti, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has yesterday organized a conference on the Arab World African Partnership under the theme, The Role of Djibouti as a Link Between the Two Spaces. This conference, held in the meeting room of the Diplomatic Institute, was attended by the Secretary General of the Arab League, Mr. Ahmed Abu Gait, the Head of Diplomacy, Mohammed Ali Youssef, and Director of Diplomatic Institute, Musa Ali Megak, but also the Ambassador of Djibouti to Egypt and our Permanent Representative to the Arab League, Mr. Mohammed Dur Hirsi, and several Djiboutian intellectuals and other guests. This event was an important opportunity for the participants to exchange and discuss the economic and social partnership between the Arab world and Africa, as well as the latest development of the Arab world, including Yemen, Libya, and the like. They have also discussed the efforts undertaken by the Arab League to strengthen the cultural links between the Arab world and the African continent. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mohammed Ali Youssef, delivered a speech at the opening of this conference, first of its kind in Djibouti. The Minister first welcomed the Secretary General of the Arab League, Mr. Ahmed Abu Gait, who arrived in Djibouti for a 48-hour visit. Mr. Mohammed Ali Youssef pointed out that the Republic of Djibouti, since its accession to the Arab League in 1978, spared no effort to support the issues of the Arab nation, pointed out that Djibouti, and by virtue of its geographical location between the Arab world and the African continent, has done everything they can to meet its commitments in Africa and the Arab world. The Djibouti Head of Diplomacy also spoke of our country's unremitting efforts to maintain security and stability in the region and to achieve lasting and comprehensive peace in Somalia, and to continue efforts to end the conflict and restore security in Yemen. Djibouti took the chairmanship of the Council of the League of Arab States at the ministerial level 3 times in the years 1979 and 2017. He said during this period, spared no effort to advance joint Arab action and achieve the goals. Arab said the Minister Yusuf. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation reviews counter-terrorism efforts, calling for increased cooperation among countries in the region to counter these threats. And finally, he recalled the importance of strengthening tolerance, moderation, and maintaining the cohesion of our societies in ensuring a prosperous future with values. The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, Ali Hassan Bahdoun, received today in his cabinet Mr. Alan Patterson, Assistant Deputy Secretary for Defense in charge of African Affairs, along with Colonel John Tully, Defense Attaché at the U.S. Embassy, Mr. Alexander Hamilton, and Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy, Colin Miller. In addition to the Minister of Defense, Colonel Major Yusuf Kayat Gele, a technical advisor to the Minister of Defense, Colonel Major Ali Subeni Shirdan, Deputy Chief of Defense Staff, Secretary General, and Captain Elias Abdullahi Gele, Chief of Cabinet of the Ministry, took part in this meeting on the Djiboutian side. Mr. Patterson's visit is part of his first visit following his reappointment as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for African Affairs. The Minister welcomed Mr. Patterson to Djibouti and took the opportunity to congratulate him on his appointment as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for African Affairs. The discussions between the two authorities focused on the security situation in the region. Following a brief on the launch of the medical surgical caravan made up of about 30 specialist doctors and as many health technicians, the medical surgical caravan took direction of RTD. The missions of this medical surgical caravan will cover a period of 10 days starting from 6 to 15 February 2018 to provide specialized care in such as ophthalmology, stomology, and many more. As well as they were welcomed in this meeting. Indeed, 9 months after the success of the first edition, the Ministry of Health has just reopened a new edition of medical and surgical caravan by sending a team of doctors, all specialists, as well as the caravan also carry adequate equipment and technical equipment and supply of medicines in sufficient quantity to cover all needs of this mission. The Minister of Women and Family, Mrs. Moumina Ahmed Hassan, along with the Obok Region Prefect Hassan Dabele, Obok Regional Council President, went to Adikano on Sunday, 4th February. The Minister and her delegation were welcomed by the people of Adikano, the most remote town in Obok Region. The Minister gave to the population of this locality food blankets and for 200 families granted by the First Lady, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Hayter. She also distributed school supplies and clothes to the children of this community. The Minister and her delegation had an interview with the population where she listened and learned to the grievances of the population. Then the authorities of the region and the Minister in turn responded to the grievances of the population. As part of her tour of the interior regions, Mrs. Moumina Ahmed Hassan, Minister of Women and Family, along with the Prefect of Obok Region, Hassan Dabeli, President of the Regional Council of Obok, Mr. Muhammad Hamad Ismail, the Prime Minister's Technical Advisor, Ali Ahmed Hassan, and Mrs. Hasna Maki, the Sub-Prefect of Ali Dada, went to Adudaba on Monday, 5th February. Once there, the Minister and her delegation were treated to a warm welcome by the people of Adudaba. Again, food provided by the First Lady was delivered to the local population. After a word of welcome from local women, the Minister had with the people of Adudaba frank and sincere discussions, and as men and women have in turn expressed their grievances, which mainly concern access to water, education, and health. A swearing-in ceremony was held this morning in the Justice Palace in Djibouti for judicial police officers. The officers of the judicial police, who were in numbers of 30 people, were sworn in this morning, and this after a training of 4 months in the Camp Nigat. They were trained on the various investigations, planned offences, preliminary and constitutions, and now they are dispatched to the various districts of the capital. These young people, who are between 22 and 30 years of age, with a school level ranging from bachelor to master's, will be brought to responsibility to accomplish the tasks accurately with the ultimate respect of the law. The swearing-in ceremony was presided over by the Lima Trial Court President. Also present were the Public Prosecutor Mr. Aiti and the Director General of the National Police Colonel Abdullahi Abdi Farah and several other officials of the civil protection. The commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Bokore, presided over the opening ceremony of the training entitled Security and Maintenance in the Military Patrolman's Operations, conducted by Japanese experts. This training is part of the excellent cooperation and collaboration between the two countries, and in particular between the Japanese Coast Guard and the Djibouti Coast Guard. In his intervention, Colonel Wais Omar Bokore emphasized the importance of this training for Coast Guard's officers by urging beneficiary agencies regions to benefit from the experience and know-how of the Japanese experts. The colonel was also keen to praise the permanent and fraternal support of the government and the people of Japan by providing trainers with all the recognition of the Coast Guard. The Ministry of Labour, in charge of the reform of the administration, began a campaign to promote the values provided by the decoration of services to the citizens in the 5 regions of the interior. This initiative began on Wednesday, January 31st in Obok region, and then on Thursday, February 1st in the Tijor region, and will continue in the next days to cover all regions. A work program has been established by the Executive Secretariat in charge of the reform of the administration in collaboration with INAP and secret companies, changed by delivering transformational leadership training to implement a work process that can bring quality public services to local government agents. On the international news now, January was a bloody month for children in the Middle East. 82 of them were killed in the conflicts ravaging Iraq, Syria or Libya. Most of them Syrian were killed during a bloody January in the conflicts ravaging their country in the Middle East and North Africa, UNICEF said on Monday. In Benghazi, in eastern Libya, 3 children were killed in a suicide attack and 3 others were while playing near explosive devices. This statement said a mine also claimed the life of a child in the old city of Mosul, the former stronghold of the Islamic State group in the northern Iraq, while a child was shot in a village near Ramallah in the occupied West Bank by Israel. That's all for this news. Thank you for joining us on RTD and have a good night.